let me double check to see if we are live. Because I believe we are live. Please don't do that. It's like I can't tell. Am I live? Stream manager. I'm just gonna give it a second to then see like what people can see. It's like, did I just break my whole entire... I haven't updated OBS in so long and I really need to. I just don't. Like, cause it's saying live, but it's not looking live. I don't have time for this today. What's going on with you, boo? We restarted our OBS like 100 million times. Let's see, is it working on our phones? Let's see. Okay, it's working on mobile. I'm just not sure why on actual like Twitch itself. Every time I go to my channel. There we are. Okay, cool. That was just going very weirdly, I think. I think very weirdly for me because I'm having technical difficulty. Okay, I had technical difficulties, so I'm like 30 minutes late, but we are going live on Twitch for Happiness Podcast instead of YouTube today because I can't get YouTube to work. So come and hang out live on Twitch, and then the upload will be on YouTube at the end of today. Okay, I have tech. My eye looks crazy. Twitch.tv/oftenl. Copy. Of YouTube. Yay! Hi! How's your day going? I am going live for Happiness Podcast on Twitch today instead of YouTube, so come for episode 9 on procrastination. How's your day going? You're procrastinating right now by watching this stream? Good. We are going to talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm, the heck? I literally, y'all, you don't even know what we I tried to put this up on OBS and it totally broke everything. It totally broke everything. So I don't know what was the deal or the main malfunction, but I also don't know what's going on with you. Why are you being like this? Oh my god. I think maybe it's me. Here we go. What he say? Namaste. I don't know if I namaste in bed myself. Okay, let us hit our bone. We missed our 420 because we were not being mindful. Okay. Where is our podcast? That we do need. Ayo. Because that. Okay. This was where it was at. Yay! I'm so excited that you guys are here today. So, today is episode 9 of the Fairly Often podcast. Episode 9 talking about esteem needs, talking about respect, freedom, self-esteem, and specifically today, under the umbrella of esteem needs, we're going to talk about procrastination. Because one of the biggest parts of building up your self-esteem, getting positive reinforcement for who you are, not only from your peers and your community at large, but also yourself, is the act of actually putting yourself out there. So you can have all of this greatness inside of you. You can have all of these cool ideas and skills and abilities and thoughts. You can have so much to offer the world. And if you aren't putting one foot in front of the other every single day, even when it's hard, to put yourself out there, no one is ever going to know how great you are. You're not ever going to know how many successes you had versus failures. No one's going to know how resilient you are, least of all you. You know, one of the biggest parts of growing and of becoming self-actualized and having a road to happiness is the awareness of your life, awareness of your ability to put yourself out there, to know what makes you happy, to know what you're good at, to know what you succeed at and what you fail at, and the things that you push yourself. You know, in one of the episodes, I think yesterday, we talked about how you're not who you are with your key characteristics and traits if you're not in a relationship. And that doesn't mean like an intimate relationship. It means like any type of relationship. You cannot know that you're patient if you're not having a communication with the cashier at the grocery store and exercising patience in that relationship. You cannot know that you're kind or giving if you don't have a relationship with your neighbors and you don't exercise kindness and giving to your community. You cannot be those things by yourself, because if you're not putting those into practice and getting the opportunity to really show those in the real world, then you're not those things. And that has a lot to do with procrastination, of not putting yourself out there, so not knowing that you're able to fail many times and keep going. So you don't know if you're resilient or not if you don't put yourself out there. You don't know that you're able to take criticism if you're not putting yourself out there. And these are a lot of the reasons why people procrastinate. Because it is hard to get evaluated for the work that you do. If you are a high achiever, if you think a lot of yourself and expect a lot from yourself, to actually get down and do the thing when you know that you have capabilities and skills to put forth, you actually have to see what value is there in your actions, what value you actually hold when you actually put it out there. We all know those people who are like, they're so smart, they just don't apply themselves. And it's like, but are they really smart then? Because if you have it all bottled up inside and you never let it out, and you never put one foot in front of the other to be strong in the face of growth, then we never really get to know who you are as a community. And in preparing for today, I Google so many things. I search engine, self-esteem, growing, self-love, how to be a better person, finding happiness with your esteem. And when I come up with search results, I get a myriad of things that seem to overlap each other all the time. Awareness, help, the desire to help your community. Like, a lot of things overlap each other when you're looking for happiness. And one thing that I found earlier that was really, really nice about procrastination and learning something new in this experience for me was that procrastination forever in society is looked at as a negative term. It's looked at as self-harm. And when I was doing research about finding happiness, one of the things that it said was to change the way in which you look at your own procrastination. That procrastination in itself is the activity of protecting yourself from failure. And really, one of the people, he was so funny, he said procrastination is actually pretty perfect almost. Like, it's almost the perfect method. If it didn't have key components to harming your ability to reach self-actualization, procrastination would be super great. Because when you procrastinate, right, so say you have a test at 10 a.m. on Friday, and you wait all the way until Thursday night and you don't study, and then you give yourself 5 hours, and people have had 2 weeks to prepare, and you get to the test and you're like, oh man, we'll see how this goes, and you ace it. Then you're reinforced positively for procrastinating, because now you've told yourself, wow, I'm way smarter than I thought I was. I thought I needed way more time to take care of this test than I really needed, and I guess I didn't. So then you reinforce yourself with procrastinating, versus really taking the time to study for that test, to then go into it saying, I put all of my effort in to trying to get the best grade possible, and I got a C. I tried as hard as I could, and I got a C. That could be really hard for people to deal with and not be reinforcing of the procrastination. But here's the thing. When you actually put diligent effort into things, when you do not procrastinate, when you give yourself the opportunity to really wholeheartedly give the world who you are, to really assess your skill set at a place and time instead of your ability to make miraculous things happen, to miraculously overcome obstacles in your way, you then get to actually do yourself a service and hone your skills by really sitting down and studying for 2 weeks. You get to train yourself to have time management. You get to really get that long-term gratification of knowing that, because, right, so we often talk about those deficit needs of like eating, like, oh, I just ate and I feel good. I feel satiated. I can go about my day. I just slept. I feel good. Those things are easy, quick. Procrastinating, easy, quick. But those things like relationships, like family or community relationships, that working on your security, those are tremendously hard to do and take a lot of work and do not have immediate gratification and take a lot of practice to grow, and those places have failure. Relationships, you will struggle, and you have to grow, and you have to be empathetic, and you have to be understanding of people, and you have to really challenge yourself about your core beliefs and the way in which you understand who you are as a human being. And not procrastinating, doing the due diligence to put yourself out there in a meaningful way. Oh, it's hard. You're going to fail. You're going to have drawbacks. But the long-term gratification that comes from that, the long-term inherent cornerstone, the foundation of you, knows that you love yourself enough to give yourself the opportunity to do things that feel right to you. Because when you're procrastinating, you know you could be doing anything else that is productive that you should be doing. And you push it off and you push it off because there's something else you could take care of. Maybe you tell yourself you won't be the best at doing this right now. You know, like, common example. You have a paper due on Friday and it's Monday. You tell yourself, I'm going to wake up and work on my paper. And then you go to class that day, have a long lunch, hang out with people after school, go to your after school job, come home, eat a late dinner, and by the time you're showered and sit down to work, it's 10:30 at night and you're like, I'm exhausted. I'm not going to do any type of good work right now. I just had a really super long day. I'm going to hit the hay and I'll wake up early tomorrow and do it. And then the next day, cycle, repeat the same thing. Okay, I'm going to have lunch with my friends. I'm going to hang out with people. And you keep pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off because it's like, I have something else I can do. Then say on Wednesday, oh shoot, you have extra 4 hours of time and you're like, it's been a stressful week. I've been thinking about this paper all week. I could really go do some self-care. I could really, for me, go get my nails done, and I can sit there and study while I'm getting my nails done, and that'll work. And then I'm at the nail shop. Oh no, I'll be too distracted to study. These people are talking to me. I can't do it right now. There's always something else that gets in the way that you can push something else back. But when you're practicing self-love, when you're practicing having good self-esteem, what you're saying is, I'm worth it. The key components inside of me can only get out by me doing the work. I need extra time in the day, all day, every day, to do my best and be my best and express my best self. So those moments that you're pushing back, oh, I'm not good, I'm going to go to sleep right now. It's like you're procrastinating because you don't want to put who you are out there. You don't want to put your paper for school, the thoughts that you have, your intellect, because you're saying to yourself, like, this, what I'm judged on, tells me what my skills are. It gives me a grade. And based on how I feel about myself, that may be very hard to take. I may expect a lot from myself. I may think that I'm better than that, and I should have done more. But see, like that, because one of those components, like I just want to make sure I touch on, is people who don't think that they should do more don't have feelings of procrastination and don't struggle with it, don't have that issue with self-esteem. They think they're great. There are just people who go through life that don't, they're like, oh no, you know what I'm talking about? Like, if you don't have the awareness, if one, your intellectual processing is low, like maybe you just don't really care, like you don't know, so you don't care, or you have like not that much pressure or value on that thing. You know, so many people who procrastinate at their job, like you procrastinate at your job, but you and the person next to you are doing the exact same thing, but they don't feel feelings of procrastination. They're totally fine with themselves. They're like, whatever, it'll get done if it gets done. And they'll miss their deadlines. They don't care. They don't hold themselves to a high standard. So procrastination, the feelings of procrastination, the feelings of like, I should be doing something else right now, is already a notch up for you of being intellectual, of having a certain awareness of like, I should be doing something else, right? That's your little internal valve telling you that something is going on. Because if you don't value a thing, like if you don't value the job that you do, if you're just so blasé about it, like whatever, you're not going to have feelings of procrastination. You're going to be like, whatever, someone else will do it, I don't care, like whatever. You know, when you used to work at your entry-level jobs, like I used to work at Walmart, and I would procrastinate doing the hard shift, like the part that maybe was gonna like take me the most time, and I'd push it off, and I'd have feelings of like procrastination, like, this is gonna be so hard to do, and like, I'm just gonna have to get out there and do it. And other people that would work the same environment as me at Walmart would be like, whatever, I'm off in 8 hours, and if I don't get it done, I do not get it done, and I do not care, and I do not feel like that's hard, because I do not care if I get it done. So I don't have any sense of procrastination. So like, if you are feeling that, then know that that is an internal mechanism for you to say, hey, you value this thing. That's why you're procrastinating. You're trying to protect yourself from failing at doing something that you care about. That's a good signal for you to have an awareness and an understanding, and those are places for you to grow, right? Like, if you really look at procrastination in that way, instead of like, oh, I'm so lazy, oh, I can't get my stuff together. You know, if you stop looking at procrastination as like a negative thing and more as those indicators in the car, you know, when your car pops up a light and says, you need an oil change. Hey, your back left tire is running low. I don't know what else cars tell you, but it's like, oh, you're overheating or something like that. Like, oh, I know the one where your tires, where your hydroplane, you know, if you are not, excuse me, if you are not looking at things, restructuring things so you can be kind to yourself, looking for ways in which your basic operating is correct, that telling yourself, hey, procrastinating is because I'm afraid, procrastinating is because I value this thing, and because I expect a lot from myself, and I now have an awareness of that, and I can do better. I can put one foot in front of the other to take the moments where I think anything is more valuable than me putting myself out there for people to understand in a real way. Whether that be for a test, whether that be for a relationship, whether that be for, you know, some people, they really procrastinate relationships. It was so funny, I heard a podcast, if you guys ever listen to This American Life, the host of the show was talking about one of his biggest regrets in life. And the premise of the show was time machines and people being able to go back in time, and how young people have a fascination with that. And he said, I've always wanted a time machine because I would have gone back to this one moment and changed this relationship. And the relationship that he said was, he was with a girl for 2 years, and things were starting to get serious, and she had flown home to Alaska from summer from college, and he flew to Alaska behind her to talk about their relationship. And at the end of his trip, he said that he wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and he then regretted it until the airing of that show. So for the rest of his life, I'm not sure how long his life will be after this, but current state, he regrets it. And because he says he procrastinated, he waited too long, he didn't want to step up to the plate and do the thing that he knew that he needed to do. He wasn't ready for a relationship, quote unquote, ready for a relationship, and now he regrets it. And it's like so many people go through those spaces of regretting things because they procrastinated for far too long. Maybe they never got around to doing a thing. Like a few days ago, we talked about hobbies and nine residual income streams from passive income sources, like 9 ways to make money from passive income. And a lot of the passive income things were things that a lot of people say that they're gonna do. I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, I'm gonna do a course, I'm gonna teach a course, or I'm gonna, you know, people always tell themselves these great things that just need a little bit of fire underneath them of caring about putting who they are out there in a real way. And having a purpose, having a drive that's bigger than any one individual reward. Like making sure that there's an accurate representation of you, taking the wholehearted time to give yourself space to put yourself out there. Like for me in college, doing papers, I would wait forever to do a paper. I would wait sometimes in undergrad until the lunchtime before the class. The class would be at 4 o'clock. I'd have lunch at noon, and I'd sit down and write an 8-page paper in 3 hours. And I'd get like, I graduated college with a 4.0, so I did pretty well for myself in the procrastination stage. But doing that, I never wrote anything beautiful or miraculous. I never gave myself enough time to go to the writing center and have someone critique it. I never reread anything to make sure that there weren't grammatical errors or that I couldn't put a better sentence or find a better reference. I never gave myself the space to really be critiqued for an honest expression of who I was based on that thing that I was assigned to do. You know, I signed up for college and they gave assignments that they thought would help us to be judged for who we are and our understanding of a thing. And it's like procrastinating my way all the way through it. And yeah, some things didn't need as much stress and strain as some people put on it. Like, some assignments didn't need that. But I feel like if I wouldn't have procrastinated those 4 years of college, that I at least would have learned what needed stress and what didn't need stress, instead of always stressing about everything and then procrastinating on all of them until the end, because I didn't want to be judged for putting in 40 hours of work on a paper and then them telling me that it wasn't truly wonderful. Like, I just don't think that I could have stomached actually working on something and telling everyone that I cared about this and really wholeheartedly jumped into it and then got less than admirable marks for it. You know, as a content creator now, even I struggle with procrastination all the time, in the sense of being comfortable with being good at one thing and saying like, okay, I'm good at this, but then struggling tremendously in other areas, and then saying that I don't have time to learn how to do those, saying that I'm not as successful as I could be because I don't know how to do that. For me, a lot of times I'm like, I would be more successful if I knew how to do tech stuff, if I knew how to edit videos, or if I knew how to do transitions, or if I knew how to make a cover screen or make a intro. If I knew how to run Discord, I'd be more successful. You know, I tell myself, oh, you're good at live streaming, being in front of people and making people feel better about their interaction with you after they've done it, and that's good enough. But if I would know how to do these other things that other people know how to do, then I would be more successful. And the thing is, by not actually learning how to do those things, because there's no barrier, nobody is stopping me, like, at all. And me telling myself over and over again, I'm bad at technology, I don't know how to do it, if I just had a assistant, if I could just do these things, like, I would be good at it. Those are ways for me to limit myself and to never really take the plunge of seeing how successful I actually could be. It's always just leaving it like, oh, I would be if I did that thing, you know? So with that, I'll probably stop procrastinating since now we're having this talk and I can have that level of awareness that, like, I definitely am for sure not learning how to do any tech-based stuff, or like actual editing or self-portraits, or I have a thing, you know, I have the remote for the camera and I can take pictures of myself. It's the actual Canon remote too. It's not the knockoff brand. And I can learn how to take self-portraits. I don't need a photographer. Photographers cancel on me all the time, and I could have legit great high-def photos for my social media and business pages and everything if I just learned how to do it. And there's no reason that I haven't, other than just not wanting to fail and not wanting to see how successful I would be. You know, I have been online 4 years and have just now started to upload on YouTube with any type of regularity, of actually sitting down and having an awareness of who I want to be, what I want to do, and putting that out there in a real way. And still, even I procrastinate on the tech part, right? Like editing videos and getting music and intros and all of that. But at least I finally started to put up stuff on YouTube with some regularity. But there's like the same thing that you guys struggle with all the time. I don't know why many of you don't have YouTube channels about whatever your biggest hobby is, whatever your passion or something you'd like to learn about or bring a community around. I don't know why so many people tell me that they want to do a YouTube or they will do a YouTube, or even people I know who are active content creators, have all of the gear, and most of them do know how to do the tech stuff, know how to edit and all of that, and they still don't do a YouTube channel. They still don't make YouTube videos ever to put themselves out there at all. And it's like, I know it's because people don't want to fail and they don't want to see like, oh, I get 14,000 subscribers on YouTube and these other people have millions and millions, and like, this is really where my niche community is, and the thing that I like isn't have what is his name, PewDiePie status community, that my people who like maybe underwater basket weaving, and y'all really got a strong community of 14,000, and that's what your YouTube would bring in. But people don't want to know that about themselves, or don't want to know that when they actually go out and try to do it, that they're just like bad at stuff. They're bad at tech and they don't have the resiliency to like, hey, I'm bad, but I'm going to try. Then they don't want to learn that about themselves. Hey, I'm not a very resilient person. I do not like to not be good at things and then keep going. That's really hard for people. In one of the videos that I was watching about procrastination, he said that dang, I forgot where I was going with that. I get sidetracked sometimes. Oof. So, procrastination is your way to protect yourself. So I challenge people to ask themselves what they're protecting themselves from. Is it from you? Is it from negativity from your community? This esteem thing, this esteem needs that we're working on in episode 9 come from you internally. You can't get your esteem from anyone else. You can have an awareness of your community, of the people around you. You can make sure that you're spending time with people who make you feel good about yourself. And the thing is, you trying things, you putting yourself out there more, you being bad at something, gives other people a chance and opportunity to do those things. I remember what I was just about to say about the video I was just watching. He said that procrastination is you're thinking about being assessed or putting yourself out there, and then that being the grade or the actual way in which people see your abilities and your skills. Like, oh, you wrote this paper, you got a C on it, you spent 40 hours, and that's your skill level, that's your ability. And now you procrastinated because you thought that was going to be an assessment of your skills if you really put time and effort into it, right? Hey, if I put 40 hours in and then I get a C on it, that means that my skills are a C level, right? Like, but we all know that that's not real. We all know sometimes you just have a bad day. We all need to give ourselves a little bit of space and a little bit of kindness, that like the grade we get, the assessment from our peers, the way in which people look at us, sometimes it's just a bad day, or sometimes that's not an accurate representation of our skills. Man, oh man, there was a lady the other day that I saw went on the Florida news and was pretending to do sign language. And it was like, she's on national TV reporting from the police station about sign language. And it's like, this lady has the accolade of being able to say, I'm a sign language interpreter on TV. But she don't have a skill for that. And you know how they said that she got that job? The police chief said that she walked into his office one day and said, do you have an interpreter for this press conference that you're about to do? And he said, no, I don't. Thank God you're here. You have saved the day. She literally just went out. She didn't procrastinate. She went out and was like, hey, do you need somebody? And had no sign language interpreting skills. Her skill level was not there for for being on TV. But she wasn't a procrastinator. She got in so much trouble for that. Oh my God. It's not even funny. But I just think that when we tell ourselves that we're worth it, that we're going to take the time to put ourselves out in a real way. Like, well, I'm going to have a real relationship. I'm just not going to interact with people because I'm bored or because I want people around. I'm going to purposefully have relationships with people so that those can have meaning, so that I'm not procrastinating with life. You know, like, I think that esteem, if you put yourself out more, help people around you to see who you really are, one. Help people to see that it's okay to be wholeheartedly invested in being excited about yourself. That you don't talk bad about yourself, that you don't say that you cheated yourself from experiences, that you don't say like, if only I had more time to study, or if only I this, that, or the other, that you like really like love yourself and give yourself space to do what's best for you, then like your esteem's bound to go up. People are bound to have respect for you. You're gonna have a sense of freedom from social like the social obligations that come with being a part of a community. It's like, I really want all the best for you guys in learning. Let me pull up this thing that I had. I found, where is it? This really cool article on Psychology Today. Can we make it bigger for you? Let's see. This article is called 11 Ways to Overcome Procrastination. And I thought this would be really good to talk about because it just gives you like some very specifics, you know, that I can't really just like anecdotally talk about. So it says some key points to this article is that procrastination is not a time management problem. Rather, is likely due to difficulty managing negative feelings like boredom or anxiety. So if you have some type of learning disability or mental or cognitive impairment, if you have ADHD or OCD or things that really do impact your time, procrastination may be like an actual time management thing. If you have OCD and you're constantly doing your OCD behaviors instead of working on things that have a productive outcome or produce any type of result, it may not be due to like boredom. You might just actually have like a cognitive impairment that makes moving on to the next task and prioritizing things hard for you. So if you fall into that category, don't think that there aren't other skills if these don't work for you. If you're like, no, it really is a time management thing for me, and if I could get my time management under order, then my esteem would go up because I would be getting gold stars more often. We can do a time management episode if y'all like, but I really felt like for me it spoke to, on top of having like ADHD and OCD, like I have it all going on. I really felt like procrastination probably was more anxiety driven for me and more rooted in esteem needs than I had previously realized before today. Which is why I'm really glad that we're doing these episodes. So, another key point is that avoiding negative emotions and important tasks tend to lead to much worse outcomes in the long run, including more stress and regret. Right? Because then you're like, oh, I have to do it. I have to do the next thing. I have to do the next day. I have to do the next day. All the while you're leading up, procrastinating to the thing, you have massive amounts of anxiety of, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it, a forefront in your brain of like having a deficit need. You know, that thing that we continuously talk about is that when you have a need in your brain starts to send chemicals into your brain to tell you to have an action, to have a behavior. And if it's a tremendous need, it'll tell you fight or flight. Like, hey, you need to freaking do something. That's where your anxiety is coming from. Hey, do something. So, you're constantly doing that to your brain while you're having procrastination. It's due on Friday, and on Monday you tell yourself you're going to do it, and then you procrastinate all week. Your brain has been sending you chemicals all week long. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. That's anxiety inducing and hard for your brain beforehand. And then the thing comes and passes, and then afterward you have the regret. You have to think about all the, if I did more, if I loved myself more and I could have put myself out better. Okay? So it's bad before and after. And another key point, changing your mindset, rewarding yourself for progress, and letting go of perfectionism can all help you overcome procrastinating tendencies. Let that sit in. Changing your mindset, right? First, looking at procrastination for what it is, protecting yourself. It's not negative, it's positive. You're really trying to protect yourself, but a protection mechanism from something that doesn't need protecting maybe is trying to stop you from growing. Maybe it's the hard part. Ooh, is the some people evolve and some people don't evolve. Some are winners and some make it and some people do not make it, okay? So, if you're procrastinating because you're afraid, because you're trying to protect yourself from something, and that something is you, that something is social judgment, what's the worst people can do? Hate you, okay? Probably nobody that you've put in a position to grade you or judge you or anything is going to hate you necessarily. I don't know. Maybe I get on the internet and make these YouTube videos and someone is like, oh, I hate her. I don't know. But I doubt that you have put people in your life to judge you, like a teacher or a boss or somebody who, with your actual effort and really trying to put yourself out there, is gonna hate you. The worst they're gonna think is, I expected more of you. That's the worst that can happen. That's the worst that comes from not procrastinating, is you tried your hardest and someone thinks that you could have done better. I don't see what's really wrong with that. Because if they're there to help you to do better, if people are empathetic and kind, like being afraid of people who would be willing to help you do better is a weird concept. So you gotta restructure your brain. You gotta change your mindset. And then letting go of that perfectionism, right? We just talked about not thinking that your skills, a judgment of your skills and ability is really an accurate representation of what your skills and ability are. Unless you're all the time wholeheartedly putting yourself out there every single day. So like in jiu-jitsu, right? If you go on the mats, if you train Brazilian jiu-jitsu or any type of martial arts, you know that some days you just ate something bad for lunch. Or you're just exhausted because you did the treadmill yesterday, or this week you've trained 5 classes instead of 2. It's just a weird Thursday. You know when you train martial arts that if every day you go onto the mats and you give your best, every time you're there that you give your best, that those weird days that you have off days are anomalies. And that putting yourself out there wholeheartedly all the time, people don't judge you for those one-offs. So it's like procrastinating. You're not putting yourself out there wholeheartedly all the time. So then people do judge you for the product you're putting out, because these things are not one-offs. Okay? So, does it let me stop it really quick? I don't think that I can stop my podcast, but I just want to say I really love you guys. Thank you for coming. I know I'm on Twitch today instead of YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I'm going to save this episode and upload it for y'all so that you can watch episode 9. But I see all you guys in the chat. It's just on YouTube. I go for 1 hour to talk about something, and I have 16 minutes left. And then we're gonna go in the chat and I'm gonna read through the comments and then ask you guys questions and see how you feel about procrastinating, because I think this is a thing a lot of us struggle with and don't really understand how directly correlated it is with our esteem. And this is week 2 of podcast, so it's like I need to get into some content. I need to get you guys really thinking about stuff, you know? So I'm going to read this article quickly for you guys. Everyone has put off a task at some point in their life. Take, for example, this article that I had planned on posting yesterday. But have you ever wondered why you or others procrastinate? While some view it in themselves or other people as laziness, there might be something else at play. In psychology, it has been long believed that people who procrastinate have a faulty sense of time, that they think they will have more time to get something done than they actually do. While they may be true for some, more recent research suggests procrastination is linked to difficulty managing distress. Specifically, it seems that task aversion is to blame, is that when people view a task in an unpleasant manner, it will be tough, boring, painful, they are more likely to put it off. While procrastinators may be trying to avoid distress, this approach can ironically cause more distress in the long run. Procrastination can lead to increased stress, health problems, and poor performance. Procrastinators tend to have more sleep issues and experience greater stress, full regret than non-procrastinators. What's more, procrastination can also hinder your self-esteem with guilt, shame, or self-critical thoughts that can result from putting off tasks. Right? So, and in this, they specifically highlight that that something is gonna be tough or boring or painful. Like, yes, toughness indicates that we have to assert who we are or express some type of learning or grow in some way. Painful, I'm not sure why people are doing things that are painful. But no pain, no gain. I don't know. I don't know about why they said that. But boring, for sure. I think that people who have lives that are not purposeful, that they do not wake up every day and say, I have value, I have a reason for living, I was put here on earth to do a thing specifically, innately, to my natural skills. I am valuable and have something to offer, and my time and my days should be spent doing that thing, being purposeful, and finding my happiness so I can help other people become their wholehearted selves and grow a community of fulfilled people, right? Every day we're supposed to wake up and say that to ourselves. If you don't say that to yourself, if you're like, I ain't shit, I'm not here for any reason but to have a baby, I don't know. If you don't think that you have any skills or abilities, or if this doesn't apply to you, I really don't know. But every day you're supposed to wake up and say that you have a purpose, and that your 24 hours in the day, specifically those conscious hours, the 16 hours that we get to be awake, and specifically those 8 hours that we get to be a worker. If you don't have purpose, if you don't wake up every day to do the thing that you're supposed to do, well, goddamn, shit in your life is going to be boring. I would assume so. I would assume that you're not fulfilled, that you're not doing anything that means anything of any value to you, and you're probably bored all the time. If your life is filled with boring tasks and that's why you're procrastinating all the time, let's shake it up a bit. Get you some purpose and some drive. Boring often signifies easy. I can do it. I know how to do it. I just don't like doing it. That's boring. Figure out something that's hard then, that you don't know how to do, that you need to learn how to do so you can put it out there. You know? If you have too much boring going on and that's why you're procrastinating, you maybe have not figured out what your purpose is. You're maybe not working on waking up every day and saying, hey, I have skills and abilities and things that I was born with that are special to me. My community deserves for me to wholeheartedly put myself out there in the best way possible, because I have things that are great and I'm valuable. Right? Like, if you're not doing that probably all day every day, you bored, and I don't really know how to help you with that. So we're gonna get unbored. I'll figure out which one of our 5 steps towards self-actualization boredom falls in. Probably the security one. You probably need to secure your bag instead of being bored, but I don't know about that. So if you struggle with putting things off, try any of these tips to get you on track. Tip number 1, so we're going to do the 9, right? Tip number 1, get rid of catastrophizing. One of the biggest reasons people procrastinate is because they catastrophize or make a huge deal out of something. It may be related to how tough, how boring, or how painful it may be to complete a task. Whatever the case, the underlying theme is that doing that task will be unbearable. In reality, challenges, boredom, and hard work will not kill you or even make you sick. Procrastination, on the other hand, is associated with stress. Think of the stress you feel when you avoid making a phone call you know you need to make, so you keep things in perspective. There is not my favorite task, but I can get through it. Like we said, stress releases chemicals into your brain that oftentimes are a fight or flight response. Hey, you need to have a behavior. Hey, I'm stressing you out. Hey, do a thing. Have a behavior, have a behavior, have a behavior. And you're stressing your brain out. And that will make you sick. Like we said, stress in the immediate situation where there is a reason for you to stress. If you walk out of your house, I don't know if y'all saw this video. Oh my God. This man and this wife walk out of their house and they're taking their cat to the vet, and they have their cat in a crate, in a carrier, and they're walking in between their cars, and all of a sudden a mountain lion or a bobcat or something comes out of nowhere and climbs up the lady's back, and she screams out, and her husband, you can see him, just his whole body change, just stress from the ground up. What is going on with my wife? Stresses out, picks the cat and flows the cat, throws the mountain lion across the thing. And it's like, immediate stress is great for you. It kicks your immune system in gear. It raises your sense of awareness. Oh, stress in when you need it in that immediate place. Oh, it'll save your life and your wife. And probably your cat. But stress for long term, when you don't need it, is gonna harm you, harm your brain, give you bad skin. I don't know. Not that stress. He was stressed out all through the door. He threw that bobcat like across the lawn. It was crazy. Number 2, focus on your why. Procrastinators focus on short-term gains, avoiding the distress associated with the task, as opposed to long-term results. The stress of not doing it, as well as the consequences of avoiding the task. Instead, try focusing on why you are doing this task. What are the benefits of completing it? If you've been putting off cleaning out your closet, imagine walking into the closet when it is decluttered and how good that will feel. And consider how much money you will have selling the items on eBay, or how those in need feel when they receive the items as donation. If it is an exercise program you have been avoiding, focus on how exercising will help you have more positive energy, give you a boost in self-esteem, and serve as a great role model for your children. Number 3, get out your calendar. Projects will get done when I have time, as in I will do it when I have time. Tend not to get done very often, if ever. You need to schedule when you are going to work on a project and block out time just as you would an important meeting. And when it is time to do your work, set a timer so you can be focused for the entire allotted time. That's like if it is really a time management thing. Number 4, be realistic. As you establish your schedule, set yourself up for success. Projects often take much longer than expected, so bake in some extra time and look for ways to make it easier on yourself. If, for example, you're not a morning person, don't expect yourself to get up an hour early to start the exercise program you have put off for months. It might be better to schedule that activity during lunch or before dinner. So again, have a level of an awareness of who you are, what your deficits are, the things that you need to grow on, and be realistic about that, because you're going to do more harm for yourself than good. If you're like, oh, I'm going to do an exercise program and I'm going to wake up early, then you wake up early, you're not a morning person, you freak your brain up. You don't work out, or you don't work out good, that stresses you out. You don't get the results you want and you're tired, that stresses you out. It's like, set yourself up to not be stressed out, huh? Number 5, chunk it. When a task seems overbearing, procrastination often follows. So how can you break that task into smaller, more manageable parts? For example, if you want to write a book, you may choose to make an outline, identify each chapter, figure out the sections in the chapter, and then commit to writing one segment at a time. Chunking it down like this will help you feel less overwhelmed and more empowered. And like for me, this YouTube thing, the actually doing the podcast, yeah, I'm not great at tech yet. I'm going to get there though, because I'm going to stop procrastinating, because I think that you guys deserve to have an actual impression of who I am, and for you to see how important you are to me and doing these videos are to me. So it's like I needed to just get on the train of like doing it and being on at 4 p.m. and having other people be excited about it and grow a community of people who want to be happy. And then I can have reinforcement and keep doing it and tell myself like, you're actually doing the thing you said that you wanted to do. And then keep growing in there. Like you need to do things small by small if you're procrastinating for too long. For me, 4 years of not doing a YouTube channel. So it's like finally I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be on at 4 p.m. every day, 5 days a week, like a job. Some of y'all go to a job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Ew. You commit. And I couldn't even commit to 1 hour at the same time every day. So here we are. Okay. Number 6, excuses be gone. Excuses be gone. Do any of these sound familiar? I need to be in the mood. I will wait until I have time. I work better under pressure. I need X to happen before I can start. Stop it and be honest with yourself. These are excuses. Sure, it might be nice to be in the mood, but waiting for that to happen can mean you never start your project. Other than having sex, I don't think you really need to be in the mood for much. Other than agreeing to help somebody feel sexually valued and important, I don't think that you really need to be in the mood for much. Everything is hard. Working out is hard. Eating right is hard. Everything is hard. 7, get a partner. Establish specific deadlines for completing a task. When you find someone who will help you be accountable, it could be a promise to your boss or client that you will complete a job by a certain date, or maybe a coach who helps you stay on track, or simply find an accountability partner. In this relationship, you connect with someone on the phone, for example, at certain time intervals, such as once per week, and commit to what you will do before your next meeting. Not wanting to go back on your word, this can be a great way to squash procrastination. Number 9, optimize your environment. Or number 8, optimize your environment. Your environment can help or hinder your productivity. Beware especially of technologies such as your email or messenger that keeps pinging you to let you know someone has reached out to you. Social media, internet research that leads you far off track, and phone calls can lead to procrastination. So try this. During your schedule, block off time for working on a particular task. Close your email and IM, turn off your phone. Hold off on any unnecessary internet searches. Reward good behavior. How many do we have? Forgive yourself. I think this is a good one. Stop beating yourself up about the past. Thoughts such as, I should have started earlier, or I will always procrastinate, I'm such a loser, will only make matters worse. Research shows that forgiving yourself for past procrastination will help stop putting off a task. You can try to use past procrastination to your advantage as well. How determine what went into your avoidance, then address those obstacles in the present and future. If, for example, it was fear that contributed to your procrastination, what steps can you take to feel more empowered and less fearful next time? Drop the perfectionism. Perfectionism is an all or nothing mentality. Something is either perfect or it is a failure. Right? So we talked about all of these during this episode. That a lot of these, I wish that this article would have gone into more about how this can directly relate to your self-esteem and why you might be procrastinating. But I think that these are all great ways to stop procrastinating, to try to work on procrastination. If you struggle with this at all, and to help you have some awareness of who you are. So this is the end of my podcast on anchor.fm/fairly often. So if you guys want to subscribe to that, follow that. It's on Spotify. It's on a lot of different podcast things. And this episode, after we do the comment section, after I read through the chat, I'll download it and then upload it onto YouTube so that we have the chronology of episode 1 through episode 9. And then, see, it stopped. And then you guys can come back tomorrow for episode 10, self-actualization. Okay, so let me go through the chat. Thank you so much for the sub, the gifted sub. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi. Okay, let me remove this window really quick. Remove. Yes. So thank you for coming to episode 9. I know that this is normally on YouTube. The channel for it is youtube.com/C as in channel /fairly often. So the name of it is Fairly Often Podcast. You can just search that on YouTube as well in the search bar and it comes up. So I'm so happy that you guys are here on Twitch with me. I'm glad that I have this platform to stream on as well if I ever have technical difficulties on YouTube. So I love you. I hope you guys have been having a great day. I support. Hi. Saucy, thank you so much for the sub. You're at 11 months? Hi. When will you be on live? You're right, I'm a big procrastinator. And I want better for you. I want you to love yourself enough that you're like, hey, I really value this and I deserve to show people that I care about this thing and I'm gonna actually do it. You know? You're really awesome. And I think that you should put yourself out there more. That if you had a YouTube channel or a skit channel, or you know how many people you know or could do, like you live in the epicenter of the world, and I see so much vibrancy in you, that you are a go-getter, and I see more in you than you see in yourself. And until you see those things in you, I don't know how you ever gonna be the person that I know that you could be. And that's the crazy thing about procrastination, right? Is that people, if they really love us or they care for us or are a part of our community, like they think the best in us. So it's like when we're not doing the best, when we're procrastinating, like we're not fooling anybody. Like him not putting himself out there is like, it's not fooling me. I know that you're procrastinating, that you know that you could be an internet like famous person, that you could do TikToks or YouTubes or like whatever, and you're just not trying. L, how do you feel? Oh, you want to talk about poly relationships? We can talk about poly relationships in the community, like episode, I think it's tier 3, on tier 3 days. So yesterday, when you have like community stuff, we can do it on those. Hi, I hope you guys are all doing great, but we can do poly relationships. Big thank you for the sub. I love you. Big hearts. Thank you so much. Hi. I procrastinate relationships because I'm scared to be hurt again. Exactly. But it's like, do a favor for yourself, your future self. You know what I mean? Have your back. Use this time, like, think of who you are 10 years from now and say, like, I'm so glad I did that for myself. I'm so glad I put myself out there, or I really did this for me. Like, think about 10 years from now who you're going to have wanted yourself to be. People are lazy, let's be honest. Yes, a lot of people are lazy. Hi. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. LS Panda. Hello. Hi. Thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate you so much for being here. I know that this is kind of like different being, we normally do Wake and Bake here on Twitch, and then at 4 p.m. Saturday through Wednesday, we're on YouTube. So I know this is kind of different, but if you guys like it, you can subscribe on YouTube. Or you can come in the mornings and hang out. We do Twitter trending in the morning. We talk about the news and stuff. This is just mostly about happiness, because I genuinely think that we teach kids like math and science and like history, and not even a real history, like a weird jaded version, like a romanticized version of like what definitely didn't happen. So like school, we don't teach people about self-actualization and happiness. We don't teach people about money management, investing, business ownership, entrepreneurship, nothing like that. We don't teach people about interpersonal communication or expressing yourself or dealing with society at large. We'll teach you about some bullshit, this is how slavery didn't actually happen. But we're not going to talk to you about how to be a business owner, how to manage your taxes, and how to really like put yourself out there, have residual incomes, not be a worker your whole life. You know, we don't go out and talk to people about things that actually matter. And I'm like, ain't no course in college about happiness. I went up and down through school, and I couldn't get a half hour in of happiness, of them really just talking to you about namaste and get to the get-in. Really, for you to be happy, to have happiness on your journey of life, you have to be like a hobbyist of personal growth, of human behavior, of happiness psychology. Like, you have to be looking up these things daily, constantly. You have to have such an awareness of like negativity that goes on with you about your own thoughts, negativity about thoughts about your community or people around you, fear, all of those things. And we don't get taught that in school. I've been all to school for years. I stayed in school so I didn't have to do life because I was so afraid of what I was actually supposed to be in life and my purpose that I just did not. So it's like, I don't know, y'all. I really want you guys to get happy. Like, I have my gratitude journal right here. I have told you consistently, if you do not have the money to buy it, this is like $10.99. If you can't buy it on Amazon, I'm totally here every day to type out these in the Discord and to really like talk to you guys about them. I'll put what the quote of the day is. Truly appreciate those around you, and you'll soon find many others around you. Right? That's so great to think about. That's so great to think about, right? And this one, I see so much to be thankful for, and I know without a doubt that life is worth living. We should all say that every day. And then these are pieces that you can fill in. I'm totally down every day to hang out with you, start our day live, talk about this. I'll put it on Instagram, wherever you guys need to get happy. But it's like 5 minutes of gratitude every day where you're just supposed to be thankful for existing. I've asked you guys to challenge yourselves to be in love with life, in love with living your own life. One day I hope that for all of you. So on top of the gratitude, 5 minutes of being thankful. When you're being grateful, you cannot be afraid. When you are being grateful, you cannot be angry. We need to find more gratitude in our days, and we need to be encouraged to talk to each other about the places that we did not get the opportunities to grow. It's okay to be 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, and not have ever known how to live a life of happiness because nobody ever really talks about it. I think they're trying to keep it from you, for real. But your gratitude every day and meditating, getting strong with your mind, being comfortable with you, having awareness. Oorah, my lover and friend. I'm just kidding. Not really lover, but I do love you. Thank you for the sub, LS Panda. I super appreciate you for sure for coming. Okay, everybody's talking about I'm procrastinating right now. Brahma, thank you for gifting the sub. Thank you for gifting the sub to Project Nowhere. I love it. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You said you didn't know I was a Marine. Yeah, my whole family is military. My dad was a Navy SEAL. My brother is a Marine. All of my uncles were in the military. My aunt was a submarine engineer. And my grandma was a Navy nurse. And my grandfather was in the military. My whole family has served in the military. And I was raised to believe that I had a duty and obligation to the freedoms of this country, and thus I enrolled right out of high school. I joined right out of high school. Live with purpose. I love it. I love it. He said the list I'm looking at is so long. There's so many ways to work on procrastination. Thank you, the Kitty Slayer. There we go. Cortisol. Cortisol is the chemical being released into your brain. You guys feel free always in the chat to like talk to each other. Like, I might be talking about something, and if you're like, what chemical or whatever, talk about it. You guys, I'm here to learn from you. I'm here to learn for you. I'm here for all of it. It's for us to grow together, okay? I love the tattoos. I always leave 30 to 40 minutes when I wake up because this is what I need to chunk it, right? Piece by piece. That's why I said reward yourself. Give yourself those small wins of like, Okay, I know how to do that. Okay, I'm starting to do that and I can grow. I can get better. And you know, the thing with growing is people can see how much more you care, how much more of you you're able to express. You're not going to be good at something right away. That is a childlike mentality. That is a thing that comes from movies. That is not real. When you have no experience doing something, you are not going to be good at it. That is not how life works. To say, oh, I've never done this before and I'm going to be wonderful at it because I just should be. Or because other people know how to do this, I'll just be great at it. That's childlike. If you've never cooked before, you are not going to be Bobby Flay out here. You're not Gordon Ramsay day one. If you've never sang before, you are not going to be singing on the cruise ship. You're not going to be the halftime singer. Okay? Like, things take training. Yes, some people are savants. Yes, some people have natural skills and abilities. That's what I'm asking you to find. Your natural skill and ability. The thing that you're good at. And if you're not just naturally good at it, like, I'm not good at editing at all yet. But I want to be. And I think if I stop procrastinating and give myself the space to stop saying I'm bad at a thing and to start saying I'm excited to learn how to do a thing I've never done before, I might actually get really good at it, and probably quickly. If I'm excited about it and am not telling myself, oh, I'm bad at editing, if I'm telling myself, I've never edited before ever at anything, and I'm really excited to learn how to do that. I'm really excited to see day by day how I go from 0 to step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, instead of saying from step 0 that I should be as great as Peter McKinnon. I should be able at Frono's Photos. I should be as great a photographer as them, who've been doing this for 15, 20 years. Not saying I should go to 0 to 100, but saying I'm happy with 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and the small growth. I'm happy with adding an intro slide and music and color grading and this and that and this and that. Growing, like, there's so much space to not have to overwhelm yourself with being like, I need to be good at it. Because you're not going to be good at things you don't know, you've never done before. Why would you be? This isn't magic. Tech is easy. I'm so glad that some people, it's their natural good, they're not afraid of it, so they're so excited to do it. You could have had 100K subs. Not all of us can show. What? Oh, you like my nails? Thank you. Accountability is mega important. You're a multidimensional being capable of more than you can imagine. Focus. That'll be $28.99. What is my life path number? Interpersonal relationships is a big one. What's crazy is that I had a class in interpersonal relationships for a security job. Yeah. Gratitude is important to nullifying the feeling of purposelessness in existence. You know, the thing is, like, if we really learn the things in school that we should learn. So I was watching this thing with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author of the book, and he said that knowledge is a 18-month span. So new knowledge comes about every 18 months. So a thing that you've learned in school is going to be outdated 18 months from now. So it's like, why learn things that aren't going to be put into practice where you are going to continuously be learning on the grow? You should be learning about gratefulness and meditation and self-awareness and controlling your own mind and your emotional IQ, because you can work on your emotional IQ every day. When someone's trying to cut you off in traffic, you can practice those skills. How are you going to practice geometry? How are you going to practice the Oxford comma? Like, okay, you can definitely practice your interpersonal communications, having patience, understanding. Those things you can practice every day. So it's on the spot learning and growing. That 18 months is going to be a continuous refresher daily of things that you should learn. But we don't teach important stuff in school to make important people. We don't teach people what you should be at 18. Self-sufficient, have a good control of your emotional IQ and emotional awareness. You should be resilient and understanding that you can fail and that you have the strength to get up again. We don't make 18-year-olds adults. We have a total disparity of what you can be at 18. What it's required to be an effective, tax-paying, full-fledged citizen of this country. Someone who can go to war and give their life. We do not have a standard of what that person should be. They're supposed to know math and science and have a high school diploma. But resiliency, empathy, patience, trying to have an understanding of other people, having a purpose in life or a drive to get there. Nah, we don't need adults like that. Why would we need you to know how to Oxford comma your way into a Pythagorean theorem. Know what I'm saying? So, not good for the vocabulary. Well, it says I can't versus I can't. Ooh, and I burned the house down. I can't burn this whole house down. My bad. I'm ex-military, go Army, and I have a military family as well. My granddad was a World War II vet, and my dad a Vietnam vet, my older brother Army, and my cousins and their sons are military. So my dad was Gulf War. So your dad is a little bit older than mine. We're probably like 10 years apart in age, but Brahma, have a wonderful day, and this is going to be recorded and put up on YouTube. So if you guys would give this a thumbs up on YouTube, I would appreciate you so much. It helps my algorithm, and like I said, it's been a journey that I am starting and really trying to put myself out there and make these videos for you guys so that I can be encapsulated forever on the internet in a meaningful way. Hi. Thank you for the bits, Brahma. Might be in love with you, LOL. Aw. LOL. I'm sorry. That was so corny. What's crazy is I had a class in interpersonal. Well, oh, excuse me. So, that's one thing that we talk about when social workers have to interact with police force and community officers, is the way social workers have to approach situations. So oftentimes, if someone has a mental health call, if they get a 5150, or if someone needs to be put into a facility or is dangerous to themselves or other people, the police are often called. People call 911. But if you're in states like California, the police have a social worker. They are required to have a mental health professional go with them to 5150 someone, because a 5150 is taking away someone's rights. You cannot take away somebody's rights. You cannot say that someone is unfit to care for themselves if you're not a mental health professional. In California, they don't play that. So police get an immense amount of training on what they are capable of, like what their jurisdiction is and what it is not. And when social workers have to interact with them, oftentimes we talk to them about interpersonal communication, about de-escalation. All the time when we do courses, we ask police, what is the first show of force? When police interact with a situation, security guards, like you're saying, when you were security, you had this interpersonal communication. We say, what is the first show of force as an officer? And they'll say, when when I tell them, show me your hands, when I give a verbal command. They'll say when I pull my firearm. They'll say all type of things. Like, these are different shows of force. And the thing that we have to explain to them oftentimes is that the first show of force as a police officer is pure presence. Because when you're there, it's no longer peers. It's no longer me and you. It's whatever the police officer says, and you will do it. That's the first show of force. Is now someone understands that an overarching authority source and figure is there. So what they say and the way that they interact with people is tremendously important, because just being there is a show of force, and their interpersonal communication needs are tremendously paramount. That had nothing to do with procrastination, but it does speak to the things that we don't get taught in school and ways in which that people can be better human beings. And I'm here to help y'all be happier, get reinforcement daily for your happiness, get at least told and reminded that you're wonderful and great, and that you deserve to be wonderful and great to yourself. That I should not be the person who believes in you most. That you should. And that you should be striving to awe the people who believe in you. I just want to run away so fast like the Flash. So I love you guys so much. This is essential, L. What? So I love you guys. Do you guys have any questions, any comments, anything to add? We've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. I don't really like to make these too long, because hopefully people are listening to them as a podcast, in the car, on your drive home, maybe adding this to your work day or whatever. So I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying it. Please subscribe here on Discord if you haven't already, and it'll be uploaded to YouTube later. I worked at a county jail in my state, and you deal with a lot of mental health issues, and there is no training for it. It was on the job training when you had to deal with it. LOL. No warning. Yeah, and they tell you, like, that's not your job. Like, you're not a mental health professional. Like, that's very apparent that the people who interact with people in jails are not told, considered. They work very much in the mental health field and should get training, but they're told there are professionals for that. Like, even in county jails, like, you have a social worker who deals with them, and a psychologist who deals with the medication, for sure. Oh, every jail has that. Oh yeah, of course, for sure. Interpersonal relationships basically teach you how to talk to anybody. It's a skill that you need as an adult. The things that I constantly tell the community is that there are very few differences between being an adult and being a child. We're all human beings. We all eat the same type of diet. We all breathe air. We all need certain sleep. We like activity. Children can like surfing. Adults can like surfing. Children can sleep 8 hours. Adults can sleep 8 hours. Children are just tiny humans. So it's like, what makes a child different than an adult? Why do we tell ourselves all the time that children are innocent and that they need protecting? And what is the difference? Because I know there's a difference. Children are not adults. They don't process things the same. They don't, but there are very intellectual children, right? There's very smart children, and there's some children who are far smarter intellectually than a lot of adults that you know. I know some real stupid people. So the difference between adults and children, what's supposed to be, is that adults are able to explain themselves, their drives, their desires, and who they are in ways that other adults can understand them. Children oftentimes have the ability to explain themselves, who they are, their drives and desires, but not everyone can always understand what they're saying. sometimes they don't cognitively have the skills to explain what they're saying, or the adults that they're talking to and them have different cognitive levels and they cannot explain that. But adults are supposed to be able to explain to other adults who they are and what their drives and desires are. So like an or like a person who, I was gonna say an aristocrat, a bureaucrat, like a person who works in the government, an adult in the government, should be able to explain themselves to a plumber. And a plumber should be able to explain themselves to a lawmaker. Their drives, their desires, the things that are important to them, who they are as a person. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, but you as an adult are supposed to be able to express who you are. Like, that's a thing that's different, and that's where interpersonal communication comes from. Being able to express who you are to other adults at their level so that they understand you. On top of the other thing of going through puberty and having a sexual drive. That's literally, very few things make adults different than children. But puberty, the act of puberty and then developing a sexual drive as an adult makes adults different than children. And the ability to have interpersonal communication and explain who you are, your thoughts, your drives, desires, and to understand cognitively who another adult is and have them understand who you are by using your communication skills. So that had nothing to do with procrastination, but hopefully when I'm editing and I go and put this up, the episode is not too long and I can just keep it in there for y'all, you know? I'm glad California has that. The police that should be in every state. My name is RB from Kazakhstan. With love. I would like to introduce you to Russian music. Heck yeah. Can you put it in the Discord? It was nice chatting with you. Have a good rest of the day, and I hope you have much success in your future endeavors. Thank you so much. I would appreciate a follow here on Twitch. This podcast, Happiness Podcast, is on YouTube. I had technical difficulties today, and it was just really funny that this was a procrastination episode, and it was taking me like 39 minutes to get online. And I was actively, frantically like doing it, and I just told myself, hey, chill out, calm down. Your people, they love you, and they'll be okay. It's not a wake and bake stream. Y'all not blazing together, but they'll be okay with you doing it here on Twitch. And just get up and do it, and don't wait. Because I was gonna tell myself I'm not gonna do it today, and I'm just gonna upload an episode later. Nah, we're not gonna procrastinate that way. We weren't procrastinating, and we had tech difficulties, so now we're here on Twitch. So if y'all like waking and baking and doing Twitter news, follow here. I would appreciate it, and I love you. And if you need more happiness in your day, or a reminder for your own happiness, or a boost to remind yourself every day to work on your own happiness, then please shoot the YouTube channel a sub. I love you loads. And I will go now, and I'm gonna download this and then upload it to YouTube. So you'll see that upload on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for coming. Happy hump day. I hope that this middle of your week cornerstone helped you guys. And the next live 4 p.m. on Saturday. Okay. Bye for now.